Hey, this is Brad Eccles with the Extol Realty Group. I hope you're having a blessed day. With 2022 coming to an end and we have the final real estate numbers in for last calendar year, just want to give you an update on the real estate market and kind of where we're at. And I hope you find this information very beneficial. And this is, of course, my opinion based on research, and let's kind of get into it. So, a lot of things happened over the past several months that have created some fear and some, headlines, and the news media loves to create some panic and fear out there. And so, a lot of headlines out there were talking about, economic crash and a real estate bubble bursting. But let's kind of look into the data and let's kind of see what's really going on out there. When you look at, usually you measure a real estate market on two things that really show a bubble burst or, a pullback in the market. And one is foreclosures happening in the market, and also home values. And we'll kind of talk about both of those. When you look at the pre-pandemic numbers based on how many foreclosures were happening in the U.S. on an average each year, the average was almost 600,000 homes per year were being foreclosed on in those pre-pandemic from 2017 through 2019. Where we're at today, so we ended up last calendar year at about 324,000 homes were foreclosed on. So well below the pre-pandemic numbers of foreclosure. So no, that's not a sign of a housing market crash. And if you compare that to what we saw back in the housing market crash of 2008, from 2008 through 2012, on average, we were seeing over 2 million homes foreclosed on each year. We're nowhere even scratching the surface of that, with last year finishing at 324,000. So, so don't let the alarm bells that some people or the sirens that some people are, making happen out there in the market scare you, because that's not what we're really seeing in today's market. Let's talk about mortgage rates. Mortgage rates, as you see, kind of increased quite a good bit toward the end of last year. So over the last several months, we saw an increase that went, considerably high of what we've been experiencing the last few years. But we were at all-time high back around November of mortgage rates, and we've seen that steadily come down since then. And so right now we're hovering in the low sixes, which, higher than what we're normally used to, but historically speaking is still actually quite low. And, where are they going to go? I can't predict that and be 100% certain, but, Freddie Mac is predicting what we're going to see as we move into the rest of this year. We're going to see rates drop into the fives, and probably around Q4, I think many people are predicting that we'll see the rates even into the low fives. So that's, a good sign of, what's going on in the housing market, that we'll see the housing market remain strong. And even with buyer demand, we're still seeing a really good buyer demand. We definitely saw a pullback on buyer demand when those interest rates got up into the sevens. But after that kind of settled down and people got used to the new norm, and interest rates started to pull back a little bit, we're seeing buyer demand still remain quite strong out in the market. So what are we seeing in home sales? This shows through December, and you can see, this is average days on the market for a house to sell. And what we're seeing right now is that 3 to 4 weeks, kind of the average for a home to take for it to go under contract. Where last year we were seeing it take 3 or 4 days, to be honest. That's not the norm, and that's not the historically norm. But we're at more of a normal market right now, a strong seller's market, but not obviously not as strong as what it was last year. So when you talk about sell prices of existing homes, home values are maintaining strength, and they are continuing to go up. But they're not going up what they were last year, when we were seeing, increases of 20 to 22% on home values. We're seeing a more normal increase of, 3 to 4%. And we expect that as the year goes forward, that we'll see that increase in home values, continue to slowly tick up month over month. But it won't be at the rates that we were seeing a year ago, where it was 20 to 22%. That was just not sustainable. And this kind of shows that. You look back at, kind of that January through June and July timeframe, where those numbers are up into the 20s. That's just not a sustainable, or honestly, really not a healthy market for the long term, because buyers are getting priced out of the market. So, we're seeing, the home values now increase at a more normal rate, which is, honestly healthier really for the entire market, at least in my opinion. The forecast in December was that, home values would increase at 3%. They were actually up at over 6%. So the market is still outpacing what, many experts were projecting in Q4 of last year. And so part of what's driving that is interest rates are coming back, but inventory still remains low. So it's a great time to sell a house to get, good, offers on your home, because if you look nationally speaking, inventory on homes are still down 9.3%, and in Georgia it's down 10.5%. So low inventory, good buyer demand, interest rates starting to pull back. Still a really good time to sell. But if you're a buyer, it's still a healthier time to home shop than what it was, 9 to 12 months ago. And this kind of shows, home inventory as far as how many homes are on the market, as far as how many months of inventory. And it's low inventory, so it's a great time to list a house, and it's becoming an easier time for a buyer as well. And this is just a quote from an expert. It says, I'm looking at the latest housing data, and I see surprising demand indicators, including home price resiliency and supply staying restricted. Who would have guessed that, especially a few months back when interest rates got so high. So we're kind of at a turning point and just kind of the bottom line of the market. We're seeing mortgage rates come back down, which is good for the market. Buyers still need homes. People still need a place to live. Home inventory is still restricted. Home sales are still historically strong, and pricing appears to have stabilized and is even growing, but at a more normal rate than what we were seeing, last year. So I hope that you find this information is helpful. If you have any questions, shoot me a text, call me, or respond to this email. You have a blessed day, and look forward to hearing from you.